Hey guys, welcome to a very special ranking video that I have planned for you guys. I've been wanting to do something like this for quite some time, just didn't know what exactly to do it on, and I thought, why not do it on the Disney Golden Age? Now, before we get started, I do want to say that I absolutely love Disney, especially when it comes to their animation department. No animation studio, except perhaps Pixar, has been more influential in my life, and Disney has really been there for me since the beginning. Like, I used to watch a lot of their animated movies back in the day, and they have really shaped and influenced me and shaped me into the person I am today. So I want to celebrate those movies today by looking at the very start of it all with the Disney Golden Age, running from 1937 to 1942. There are 5 movies on this, so let's really get started by looking at these films and ranking them best to worst. Now, I will say that this is, of course, my own personal opinion. Like, I don't tend to say that, I'm right or anything. This list will be different for everybody, I'm sure, and you might not agree with my list, but this is my own personal ranking. So anyway, let's get started with number 5. At number 5, we have Dumbo, which is a film that when I first watched it, I really didn't care for, but as I have watched it multiple times now, it has increasingly grown on me, and I think a lot of that is due to the character of Dumbo himself. I absolutely love this character and his design, and yet he doesn't say a single word. And I also love how the animation is very cheap looking. I know that it was a business decision on Walt Disney's part by making a lower budgeted film to make back some of the money that was lost from movies such as Pinocchio and Fantasia. And so we have a definitely lower budgeted animation style that looks really good still, and though it is definitely lower budgeted, it still manages to be extremely creative with some great animation, especially in the pink elephant scene, which is visually dazzling. And I think what makes this movie memorable is Dumbo and the music that is very catchy and memorable, and it's overall just a fun little film that sadly is what I think to be the weakest of these Disney movies of the Golden Age. I think this is a really fun and creative film, but it's not a film that sticks with me after I've watched it. I've watched it 3 times now, and it does get better and better, but it just doesn't stick with me, and that's why it's number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, I know this is crazy because this film is huge. Not only was it Disney's first animated feature film, but this is one of the biggest animated films to ever exist. This film is huge, not just for the industry, but for the amount of money it made, how influential it was, and its place in the history of animation and the history of film in general. And I overall think this movie's just, really, really good. But it has some dated elements to it that hold it back for me. However, something that I think this movie does extremely well is the animation. This is the oldest Disney film we have, coming out in 1937, and it is the best looking film of this golden age. It still looks dazzling even today. The animation, the colors, just the movement of the characters and the creatures, and it all is just beautiful to look at, and it's just visually arresting. However, I think some of the gags get in the way of the story sometimes, and then there's also moments of this story where I'm like, I've seen this done better as Disney has evolved as a studio, but I think looking at this film and looking what it gave us then and seeing improvements along the way really shows how important this film is to Disney. And overall, I think it's a really fun film with some great tense moments, especially like the scene where the woodsman is about to kill Snow White. I absolutely love that scene. And I, of course, love the final confrontation with the dwarves and the evil queen at the very end. It's a lot of fun, but it's not my favorite Disney Golden Age film. At number 3, we are now getting into the Disney movies of the Golden Age that I absolutely love. And at number 3, we of course have Fantasia, which is definitely Walt Disney's most ambitious film of the Golden Age, and maybe even his most ambitious film that he made while he was alive, because this film is so unique with its idea of putting classical music to animation, and it is so wonderful to watch. A lot of the animation is beautifully done with different looks and different ways of animating certain things, and just the different styles that this movie is able to evoke is incredible. There's, of course, the standouts, such as The Sorcerer's Apprentice, and then we have, of course, Night on Bald Mountain, followed by the Ave Maria, which is beautiful and just something that I absolutely love watching, that always brings a tear to my eye watching that sequence. However, even though I love this film, I can't deny that at some points I really feel like it is a 2-hour and 5-minute film. I really begin to feel this movie's length, especially in sequences such as with the dinosaurs. And though that is an amazing looking sequence, it goes on for an extremely long amount of time, and it just, my attention span begins to dwindle. And then there's also moments that I feel like now would never be in something like this, such as there's this moment with the narrator, the soundboard, and it's goofy, and I don't really care for it that much, but I can't deny that this is an incredibly ambitious film with beautiful animation, beautiful music, and just a unique take that is a truly emotional experience that is going to be different for everybody that watches it. Now at number 2, we have Pinocchio. Pinocchio is an absolute masterpiece. I love this film. I used to watch this film so much as a kid, and watching it now, I didn't realize as a kid just how dark this film is. Dealing with themes of child slavery, watching these children turn into donkeys is incredibly terrifying to watch in this film, and it is also just a wonderful film. Watching Pinocchio's journey throughout this film is absolutely fantastic to watch. I love the musical sequences that we do have in this film. I love Jiminy Cricket in this film as kind of our narrator and as Pinocchio's conscience. I love him so much. The animation is also incredible to look at, and this movie also really gave us the Disney theme. I mean, when we think of Disney, we cannot not think of the song from this movie, When You Wish Upon a Star. And when you watch this movie, by the end of it, when you're literally crying from the emotional finale of this film, you will want to wish upon a star. And finally, at number 1, my favorite Golden Age Disney film has to be Bambi. Bambi is an absolute masterpiece, just like with Pinocchio, and some people might not agree with me with this, but I just really, really love this film, and I think a lot of that has to do with my emotional attachment to this film as well as my nostalgia. As far as I know, I mean, I can't really remember what my first movie ever was, but if I had to pick what my first film ever was that I ever watched, it would have to be Bambi, I think. Because I remember watching this movie as far back as I can remember, and I used to know this movie by heart. I love the animation in this film as well as the music that just lifts my soul every time I hear it. It brings a tear to my eye, and I also just love the character of Bambi and his journey from child to adult and the journey he goes on. And Bambi has just become one of my favorite Disney characters ever. Watching him is just fantastic. I love the moments of him as a child and everything, but also I remember the darker moments in this really dark story, and it all is just incredible to watch. The animation when the forest is on fire is breathtaking and horrifying to watch as well. And it it just strikes a chord with me that really none of the other films in the Golden Age really hit with me. I mean, Pinocchio comes close, Fantasia comes close, but Bambi really hits home for me, and that is why it is not only my favorite of the Golden Age of Disney animation, but it is one of my favorite animated films of all time. Well, guys, I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this ranking of the Disney Golden Age, and I don't know if you guys completely agree with my decisions on the rankings, but I do hope you enjoyed this video overall, and I want to know what your rankings of the Golden Age of Disney animation is, because, I mean, everybody has something different. Everybody has a different order that they put these films in, and I honestly want to know. Now, you guys might be wondering if I am going to be continuing on with these ranking videos for the rest of the Disney eras, and I honestly do have plans to do that. I do want to look at the wartime era, or as it's called, also the package film era, because that is a very unique era in Disney animation between the Golden Age and the Silver Age. So look forward to that video. I don't know when I'll be putting that out, but I am going to be watching those movies very soon and just give my thoughts on them soon. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.